In the last few years, we have faced an epidemic of games getting more similar to each other. It's like the innovation has faded out between the devs and they just copy each other. Well, that's ought to happen when you choose a douchebag as the boss.
Corporate needs you to find the differences between this picture and this picture. They're the same picture.
If you actually believe in any of the things I just said, this video is for you and I'm gonna prove why you are mistaken. I'm Old Soul and I'd appreciate it if you subscribe to my channel. There's a term between digital artists, especially the ones who only draw original characters, called same-face syndrome. It's when different characters keep turning out looking alike without the artist's intention. We basically have the same thing, right? Wrong. We have it the exact opposite. Today's games are not as similar as you think. So why does it feel that way? Why does it seem like that we're playing the same game over and over again? The problem is from our end. These pictures are not the same. We just think they are.
Okay, I already see one. Give him.
Now why is that? When you play a Soulsborne because this phenomenon is more common between those games and Metroidvanias, you might notice how everything has unique catchy names. The Bonfire, the Fog Door, the Bloodstain, the Souls, the Estus Flask. Health Regen Flask's origin goes back to the 80s, games like Rogue and Ultima. As we move forward, they appear again and again in The Legend of Zelda and Prince of Persia and other titles. Yet none of them named it anything other than Health Potion. Same goes for save locations and experiment points. It's like a universal language of video games was forming. Then Demon's Souls and Dark Souls came along and threw away that language. These games had a personality. Imagine if in a movie, all the everyday elements that we know, like the house, its walls and floors and windows, had completely unique names that you've never heard of. From that point on, every time you see a wall or a window, it reminds you of that movie. So the first reason in my opinion is lore saturation. Games like these have an answer for every question you might ask. A potion can't just be a potion. It needs to be the Estus Flask. We don't do save points here.
We don't do that here.
We have bonfires with a cool backstory that basically defines the whole story of the game. It's like if Tolkien was responsible for the world building, that every tree branch has a backstory. Since we're simple-minded creatures, our brains like to find connections between things. Now when we see a character drinking a potion, we immediately say, oh, they copied from Elden Ring. Or when we see a corpse run, which was a thing in 1999, we say, oh, this is the bloodstain from Dark Souls. And don't worry, I'm pointing at myself too.
You talking to me?
One of my videos is about 9 Souls similarities to Hollow Knight. Basically me trying to find connections between the most random stuff possible. And although this video deserves all the hate in the world, people decided to pick on this one, which I still fight for it as if my life depends on it. Another reason, which I think is kinda cute, is the inability to move on. It's quite rare when a game does absolutely everything right. One game might have a great story, but bores you with its gameplay. Or the gameplay is awesome, but it lacks decent side characters. That's why a game like Hollow Knight makes people to go insane. So much so that the news about the 3 seconds clip of its sequel gets 1 million views. Got that? Not the video containing the 3-second clip. The news of that said clip. Anyway, when a game is this good, you somehow know in your subconscious that you'll never play anything like this in your lifetime. Maybe you play really great games, maybe even better, but not this one. You will have Sekiro and Elden Ring to play, which are arguably better than Dark Souls 1. But you'll never experience the joy of meeting Solera Vastora for the first time again. You will never know again of that heart-wrenching sadness when you find out about Mr. Oshiro's denial, or the goosebumps you get after the cathedral scene. But as I said, we're simple-minded creatures and try to convince ourselves that we will. When we play a new Metroidvania, someone whispers in our ear that this is Hollow Knight. That whisper is trying to help us, but it'll ruin everything. Instead of denying the claim, we believe the game to be a Hollow Knight ripoff, thus not enjoying it anymore. We keep thinking about it, trying to find it everywhere we look, everywhere except our hearts. The last one is about something called von Restorff effect. Von Restorff, or isolation effect, basically says that when a bunch of lookalike elements are present, the one element that differs from the others easily pops out, draws your attention. Like how a red stain is more detectable on a plain shirt than one that has patterns. Or a more sophisticated example, why it's impossible to find Waldo in these pictures. No two elements look the same here. Now I want to turn this around. If it's easy to find differences in the majority of similarities, it should be easy to pick similarities in the majority of differences. For instance, 9 Souls is completely its own game, but when this scene plays out, you can't help but to think of Hollow Knight reaching the top. Anyways, that was my 2 cents. I don't think there's a cure for it, we are all doomed, thank you, goodbye. Of course I'm not gonna leave you at that. The only way to fix it, in my opinion, is to play more and more games, especially retro games, the ancient ones, to realize that every game needs to inspire by another to some degree, that your beloved game is not the pioneer of these features, to realize that although that game is over, there are still more to discover, and when your point of view broadens enough, similarities and differences will balance each other, helping you truly enjoy the one you're currently playing. And this was my actual 2 cents. As always, if you found it helpful or interesting, any support is appreciated, even as small as hitting the like button and subscribe. Thank you, and don't you dare go hollow.